Yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to my channel, where I say the things the mainstream media won't. Today we're talking about something that has sent shockwaves through international politics. A speech in Parliament by Foreign Secretary David Lammy, and a sudden U-turn by the governments of the UK, France and Canada in response to Israel's conduct in Gaza and the West Bank. But before we get into all that, do your boy a favour. Share, like, comment and subscribe. Help the algorithm do its thing so we can keep having these conversations. Let's get into this. Last week, David Lammy stood up in Parliament, and for the first time since this conflict began, he condemned the Israeli government in the strongest terms yet. He called the blockade on food in Gaza morally wrong, and a UN-backed report says the entire population of Gaza is now at risk of famine. But David Lammy didn't stop there. He said the latest military escalation by Israel is morally unjustifiable, and as a result, the UK is imposing sanctions on West Bank settlers. Trade talks have been suspended, and Israeli envoy Tipsy Otfeli was summoned. Let's be crystal clear. The UK, France, Germany and most Western governments are complicit in what's happening in Gaza. They've supplied arms and components, then turn round and urge restraint. You can't have it both ways. Condemnation without action is just noise, and that contradiction is the root of the West's credibility crisis in this conflict. And how did Israel respond? Exactly as I expected. They dismissed the criticism, calling it anti-Israel. And Benjamin Netanyahu claimed Starmer, Carney and Macron are on the wrong side of humanity for calling for an end to the war in Gaza. And he made it clear they won't stop until all of Gaza is under Israeli control. Dame Priti Patel, the Conservative Party Shadow Foreign Secretary, said the UK's actions would be welcomed by Hamas. This is the same Priti Patel who was sacked for holding secret, unauthorized meetings with Israeli officials. So am I surprised? No, not at all. And on Sunday, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch was on Sky News with Trevor Phillips. She said, apparently with a straight face, that Israel isn't committing genocide in Gaza. Instead, she claimed they are fighting a proxy war on behalf of the UK, just like Ukraine is. I don't know if that was a slip of the tongue or if she actually meant it, but either way, wow. Saying the quiet part out loud, not a good look. But here's the real question. Why the sudden change of heart? The Western governments has given Israel 19 months of free reign, all under the banner of Israel has the right to self-defense. They ignored the UN, dismissed the ICC, brushed off the ICJ and the US. They even threatened to sanction ICC officials for daring to issue arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant. So now we're suddenly supposed to believe Israel would stop just because you finally spoke up. This speech should have happened 18 months ago. And now, too little and way too late. Do I trust David Lammy or the UK government? No, I don't. Too much has happened and too many lines have been crossed. David Lammy's speech sounded sincere, but this is the same man who once said Israel had the right to cut off food, electricity and water in the early days of this conflict. So until I see real action, I'm reserving my judgment. What do you guys think? Is this a real turning point or just more political posturing? Drop a comment below, like, share and subscribe. Let's keep talking. Thanks for watching. Until my next one, I'm out of here.